All right, moving to our next speaker, Austen Sharpe. Welcome to the stage. Oh, you gotta jump up.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Austen, and I daylight as a Python Wrangling energy data engineer. And I work on a project called the Public Utilities Data Liberation Project. I've been working on it for 5 years, and it's an open source, free effort to make energy data more accessible. This is really what I look like most days, my head very deep in the data weeds, but it is very important to me, and I want to tell you a little bit about why, some of the important energy data sources you might want to use, and some challenges you might find with them. So right now, utilities largely control the narrative in these regulatory spheres where they're the ones running the models with their data to make these major decisions about the grid. And I think it's important to democratize this grid, and in order to do so, we need to democratize access to the data. And in order to do so, we need to make sure that people have access to good sources of information, on top of which they can start to perform analysis. So where do we get this data? Utilities have their own data. Big corporations can buy that data from places like S&P, but everybody in between needs something that they can rely on. Luckily, in the US, we have a lot of free public data. It's pretty great for now. We have some of the best information about demand. Ooh. Anyway, I swear I didn't touch anything. The problem with the data is that it's all disparate. It's controlled by different federal agencies that all have different styles of publishing data, different standards, different reasons for why that data is out in the world. So it's very difficult for you to create a single narrative using all this information. So if you want to talk about financial data from FERC and link that with data from emissions data from EPA, generation data from EIA, you're going to have a really tough time. So herein is kind of the difference between accessible public data and available public data. So we have a lot of available public data, but it's not very accessible. So it's very important that we can collaboratively work together to make that data more ready to perform analysis on. And a lot of people are doing that right now. The problem is they're doing it separately, within their own silo, with their own mechanism for their own specific purposes. And we need to be able to come together and actually put our collective knowledge about how this data works together in one place so we can all benefit from the preparatory work that we've put into this, which is sometimes years and years worth of effort. So what are we actually doing that can make this data more accessible? For one, we can start to republish this data that's put in these really difficult to use formats like XBRL into something that's a little bit more user-friendly, like SQL, CSV, or Parquet files. We can also wrangle some of these data sets that are published in infinite amounts of Excel sheets, put them into one source so that it can be actually analyzed over time, programmatically, or by people. Another thing we can do is make sure that the data itself says what it says it's going to say. Oftentimes you find these archaic data sets that were once manual forms turned digital, and then you have things like totals and headers and all sorts of crap mixed in there, making it almost impossible to do any sort of real programmatic analysis. We've also got tons of outliers that we can build validation tests for and essentially clean up so that we know what we're looking at, we can feel confident and not rely on the person that was filling out the form manually. Most importantly, we can create linked identification between the data sets. Right now in the US, there's actually no common identification system for power plants. And so if you, as I said before, want to link data between these federal agencies, it's nearly impossible, and you have to do so either by hand or with machine learning. And it's very important too that the data be accessible for people with varying levels of technical capability. So you want to be able to play with it in a browser or contribute it to the code. And that's kind of where we came in with the Public Utilities Data Liberation Project, which is our open source effort to basically build a platform that people can contribute to, that can be reproducible, that can be reliable, and that can basically build more analysis on top of. And luckily, we're not alone. There are a lot of other organizations out there that care about freeing up public data and making it more readily usable, so I highly recommend checking out some of these great organizations. And I also encourage everybody to get their hands a little bit dirty, maybe even learn a little bit of Python. Don't be shy, and share all the information that you know about all this data that you use so we can all benefit from it.
Show them your cowboy boots. All right. Yeah, and I bet those two little girls were third-born kids. Go play with the snakes with that cowboy I don't know. Don't come back till, all right. That was good. I noticed the cows had like EIA and EPA branding. You did that?
I did.
Wow. It's very impressive. Do you have any spare time in between all this data stuff? Nope. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I love the lassos. But you're the first ever cowboy themed switch talk. So there you go. So should get a free drink.